no ordinary ground. This is Fratton Park. It's a fortress, guarded by all who serve it.
Fratton Park, back to its fearsome, furious, ferocious best. Enter at your own risk.
Every tackle, every goal, every voice, we stand together.
Portsmouth lead! Adrian Segecic on debut! What a brilliant goal! And he's done it! On a row that he's done it! A magnificent header from Colby Bishop, and he'll score his first Portsmouth goal! On a Devlin scores! And you can see how much it means to him! What a shot to see! He's just too strong! Oh, it's gone over the bar, is it? No, it's gone in! Portsmouth have scored! Ivo Adams has run the whole length of the pitch! Pompey have done it! I don't know how, but they have!
Our fortress, our club.
It truly has been a roller coaster of a season. But Championship safety is secured and a sellout crowd are here on home soil to see the season off in style. Coming up in a specially extended matchday show, Terry Devlin joins us exclusively on the balcony as we look back on the right back's incredible season. Plus, Andy Moon joins us pitchside to give us his thoughts on the last 9 months. The latest from John Messino as the head coach reflects on a second season in the Championship and looks ahead to the future. Our panel are put through their paces in an end-of-term quiz and how you can unlock the past in our exclusive giveaway. Plus, we'll bring you all the latest news from around PO4 and the Championship, as well as full analysis as we prepare to go one last time at Fortress Fratton. It's Portsmouth versus Birmingham City next. Welcome to Fratton Park, wherever you're watching as we gear up for a party in Portsmouth. For John Messino's men, this is one more chance to put on a show for the greatest football fans in the world on home soil. And here's your final team sheet for the season. 4 changes from last Saturday's clash with Stoke. Ben Killip starts in goal, replaces Joe Bursick, who is out with an injury. Iban Bauer comes in for Majojo Dia, who drops out of the squad entirely. Millie Ali replaces Harvey Blair on the left, and Jacob Brown comes in for Colby Bishop up top. And there's no Colby Bishop, Josh Murphy or Harvey Blair in the squad, and Conor Ogilvie is the skipper. As for Birmingham, 2 changes to Chris Davis' side as the other Blues visit Fratton Park for the first time since 2019. Tomoki Iwata returns in midfield to partner John Solis. Out wide, Ibrahim Osman comes back in after missing the win over Bristol City as he replaces Damari Gray. So good morning, it's great to have you with us as well if you're watching on YouTube and X. Just a heads up though, if you are watching on the socials, your coverage ends ahead of kickoff in less than an hour's time. So head over to Pompey Plus and pick up your match pass, but remember, coverage will depend on your region. My name is George Wedlake, and alongside me, for the last one of the season on the Pompey Plus balcony, Paul Hardiman and Danny Rose. So Paul, we're going to start with last Saturday then. A really good team performance against Stoke, possibly one of the best all season, but Stoke did look sluggish.
Yeah, I mean, playing away from home and performing like they did, you know, sort of playing the passing game, you know, they did really well at that in possession stuff. Out of possession, though, they really pressed well as well and made it awkward for Stoke. And obviously, Segecic got the headlines, but as you rightly said, George, great team performance.
Yeah, just the 4 changes today, but there were 5 last week. But players who haven't had a lot of minutes this season, I'm talking about Hayden Matthews, Harvey Blair, Ben Killip, Luke LaRue, all stepping up when required.
Yeah, I think it shows you, the spirit and the training levels of the group. You know, when players are on the fringes of the squad or the first team and not getting as many minutes as they would like, when called upon, I think we said it many times, and you need the whole squad over the course of a 46-game season. The players have to be ready. You know, you don't know when that opportunity is going to come knocking, and the gaffer says, look, you're playing, you're starting. If you're not at it every single day, you don't put yourself in a position to be able to go and perform. So I think that's testament probably to like the training environment, what the culture's like on a day-to-day basis, and what it provokes. And those players were obviously ready to go and perform, and they did that.
And as you touched on a second ago, it was a decent team performance for Adrian Segecic, taking all the plaudits, getting a hat-trick, taking home the match ball. What a day for him.
It was unbelievable, to score the goals that he did. This first one that we're just watching here, look at how much time he's had in the box. Bad defender from Stoke, but good play from Portsmouth and a great ball from Harvey Blair to find him in that space, and he had time. The second one, ghosted in at the back stick there, just getting the slightest of touches, which it needed to make sure it went in the back of the net to put us 2-0 up. And the third one, what a great individual goal, dribbling it from the halfway line, taking him on, and then putting it through the defender's legs into the far post. So absolutely brilliant, and he deserved to get booked for taking his shirt off, but I can understand the reasons why. He wanted to show the fans.
Pretty sure he wasn't bothered by that point.
Not at all, not at all.
But look at that, 10 goals for the season, and you picked that as your individual player moment of the season. We will talk about that as a whole after the game, but I mean, what a performance from him.
Yeah, and from the first game of the season away at Oxford, he performed really well, and like I said, when he played in that game, he reminded me of Connor Chaplin, and he scored the goals that we expected Connor to as well this season. So he's done really well. He's settled in. He's come a long way, all the way around the world from Australia, and settled in so well. Hardly been injured, which is a real good thing as well, because coming into a really competitive league, playing between 50 and 60 games, the club have played this season is a lot. So, he's done really well, Segecic. Probably, close. If they did player of the season now, he'd be running Terry Devlin very, very close.
Yeah, and Danny, I just want to mention Ben Killip as well. That's the second time this season he's had to come off the bench. And as a keeper, when you're on the bench, you don't really expect to play. So that's quite a tough thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that probably leans into what I mentioned before about making sure that every day you're training correctly and you're doing the right things. And look, for a goalkeeper, it's so unlikely that you do go on. And particularly after 4 minutes that it was, he's probably just took his seat on the dugout and suddenly he's putting his gloves back on and has to get warm and and make sure that he's ready. And look, again, if he's not at it every single day as a goalkeeper, training and making sure that he's doing things properly, he has to be right. Mentally, psychologically, and physically, to go and perform at a championship level. So, again, I think that's testament to what the training environment's like, what the culture's like. And look, keepers are under the spotlight, aren't they? Particularly when he come on his sub, and fair play to him because he come through really well.
So let's take a look at the other games going on in the Championship today then. As it's the final day, every club in action this afternoon as the league table will be finalised. Here's how we are looking at it today then. So the massive games for Ipswich. If they beat QPR, they're promoted to the Premier League. If they fail to do it, the door is open for Millwall to do the same thing. And Wrexham, they've got a big game today looking at the playoffs. And it's going down to the wire, as it always does in the Championships. So let's have a look at the league table then. So as we said, should Ipswich beat QPR at Portman Road today, their place in the Premier League will be confirmed. But if they slip up, Millwall and Middlesbrough have the chance to claim it. All to play for with the playoff spots as well. And at the other end of the table, 3 relegated teams have already been confirmed, with Oxford, Sheffield Wednesday, possibly the biggest story of the season, Leicester City all going down hard. We always say the Championship is totally unpredictable. Anything can happen. But has anything surprised you there looking at the league table?
Yeah, what we were talking about earlier just off there, Hull City. They came here last season with a with a game plan to stay up, and they managed that to do it on the last day of the season, and on goal difference. And now look at them, they're fighting to get in the playoffs. So that's testament to what they've done. Definitely through the close season, and then how they've started the season and gone on and really progressed up the table. I just hope that Portsmouth can do that. We were talking about it this time last season, saying, what's the game plan for Portsmouth? It was basically probably finished mid-table. The thing that I feel about Portsmouth this season has been that we've had so many injuries that we haven't been able to get a stable team in there. And if we had, I think we'd have been up the top as well with the performances that we've had.
So Danny, Birmingham is their first game here now for over 6 years. They're a totally different side from the last time they came to Fratton Park. A certain Jude Bellingham made his senior debut in that game. But how pleased will Birmingham be with their season? Because I know they're newly promoted, but I know they have eyes on the Premier League, don't they?
Yeah, I don't think it's quite been probably like the fairy tale that all the fans you watch the documentary and things like that they would have wished. But you look at it from the outside, and obviously where they are in terms of the points total over the course of the season, they've guaranteed a top half finish, which I think is admirable. And look, if they do pick up a result today, I think that guarantees them a top 10 finish as well. So look, from the outside, look, they've consolidated in this division, and no doubt they'll look to recruitment and look to improve and go again. So look, I think that they've obviously left some points out on the field as well. I think their away form is potentially in the bottom 4, I think, over the course of the whole division, but their home form is counteracted that, and they're in the top 3 as well. So look, there's obviously loads of work for them to do, and if they get it right over the summer, then they'll be challengers next season, no doubt.
I think it just shows, George, as well, the step up from League One to the Championship. Last year they absolutely sailed through, 100 points plus, done really, really well, hadn't struggled this season.
So plenty coming up then before kick-off, and as always we want to get your thoughts at home, so get in touch with anything Pompey related. We can't take your calls, but send us everything else, your pictures, your messages, your videos, your voice notes, everything to us via WhatsApp 07457 413 694, or you can scan that QR code on screen. And on X, it's at Pompey. And just a reminder, if you're watching us on social media, your stream will end in around 40 minutes time, so head to the Portsmouth website to find out more about how you can listen or watch today's game. So very shortly then we'll be chatting live and exclusively to Terry Devlin on the Pompey Plus balcony, but now a reminder of last Saturday and Segecic's Super Saturday in Stoke, along with the thoughts of Segs himself.
Yeah, it was massive. Obviously, I love being out there. There's nothing better than scoring a hat-trick, and in front of these fans that have travelled this far, I think it was really good for me to be able to reward them with, especially the boys, the performance and the 3 points, and yeah, for me to get another hat-trick, it was honestly an unbelievable feeling. The first one, obviously, Harv, done his bit of magic and, got me free in that touch inside and that reverse shot. The boys all said they knew that was coming, and yeah, and then the second one, I got to thank him for a beautiful ball. It's good to have him back and good to have those crosses back, And then, yeah, the last one, I think that's just a bit of me driving in the middle of the park and dropping the hammer.
Dropping the hammer? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, the left foot, man, it's a hammer. I feel like as a footballer, especially for me, no matter what game I play in, no games are, we got nothing to play for. For me, I always got, things to play for, and I think the boys showed that today, even with these fans travelling down, that even for them, I think they might have thought we have nothing to play for, why should we travel down? But look at they travel down, support us and push us, every single game. And yeah, for us to go out and give a performance like that, it was unbelievable. And to take the shackles off a bit and, play such good football and let the fans enjoy the 3 points and a performance like that.
They work it out to their left-hand side, the far side, Sorba Thomas. He's going to cross in right-footed, it deflects, it's going to be Bosnick who attempts a volley, the ball's not cleared, it's come back for Seko on the edge of the box and it's over the top. Deflected over the top, Diaz getting back to his feet. It was either him or Dazelle that got a foot on it over the halfway line. Bishop controls it on his chest. Segecic then touches it back to Blair, spins away from Pearson and then releases Segecic into the box. Early chance for Portsmouth. It's Adrian Segecic. It's 1-0. Just worked it onto his left foot and whipped it into the near corner. Portsmouth hit the front after 32 minutes. In the best of fashion by Pompey though. Here's Thomas on the edge of the Pompey box, delivers across right-footed towards the middle, it's headed in the back post and it's saved. Is it going to work its way in? It's just wide of the far post. I think it was Gallagher that got the final touch, just tried to nod it into the far corner. Pompey survived. They are saying was out of play. Thomas delivers right-footed towards the penalty spot, flicked on and in! And Messino goes straight over to the fourth official to say that ball was out of play. Stoke City back in the game. In the relegation places. A win there, and if results elsewhere go their way, they will survive. We'll head there for an update very, very soon when the ball goes out of play. But Murphy's done well, crosses right-footed. Bishop's a target, it's gone all the way in! Segecic is celebrating again. It's an 8th goal of the season for Adrian Segecic, just a touch inside the 6-yard box. It might have gone all the way in from the cross from Murphy. On the halfway line, plays it to the far side channel. And the ball is with Chamadeo. It's now Stoke's chance to give it away, and Segecic comes scarpering towards the edge of the Stoke box. He's on a hat-trick, Segecic, he's going to shoot left-footed, and he finds the corner with aplomb. The shirt comes off from Adrian Segecic. He holds it up to the away support. It's a hat-trick for the 21-year-old.
So our guest on the balcony this morning has had an unforgettable season with 5 goals, an international call-up and a cabinet full of trophies following the recent end-of-season awards. Terry Devlin is missing the final stages of the season through injury, but we're delighted to have him with us on the balcony today. Terry, thank you for coming up.
No problem. Pleasure to be here.
So this season then, how would you begin to sum it up into words?
It's been it's been an unbelievable season for me personally. I'll probably, if you had told me at the start of the season that this is how it was going to go, I'd probably laughed at you. But no, I'm just buzzing with how it's went, and I'm looking forward to today's game.
Yeah, it took you a while to break into the starting 11. I think it was November time against Wrexham when you first started, but since then you've started every game you played. What do you put that down to personally?
Yeah, like you said, November was the first time. It was a bit of a frustrating start. You know, obviously everyone wants to play. You know, you're working hard in training and stuff, but you know, I got the opportunity against Wrexham, and you know, thankfully I've stayed in ever since. And I think it's just down to just consistency, really. I haven't changed anything. Haven't done anything different. I've just been doing the same things for the last probably 2 years, and I think that's what's it's stuck by me.
And I'm sure you're aware of the reputation you have around here. The fans believe that you can literally play anywhere you like, but you really did make that right back position your own. And there's competition there as well, because you've got Zach Swanson in the building, Jordan Williams as well. But that right back position, why does it suit you so well, do you think, out of everywhere you've played?
Yeah, look, obviously being able to play a number of positions is it's really important for the team and for me as well. Obviously just getting games and stepping out onto the pitch is really important for me. But this season I've really enjoyed playing right back, and you know, I think I've really progressed there. You know, I really enjoy playing there. It's sort of similar to midfield, but you know, the whole game's in front of you, and you can see everything. And then obviously you can get up and down the pitch, and you know, I like to attack and defend. So.
And something you've added to your game this season, goals. We saw quite a few from you, 5 in total for this season. We've got some coming up on the screen in a minute, a couple against Hull City. Where did that come from? How come these goals have now found their way into your game?
Yeah, well, like obviously when I was younger, I was a midfielder, so I've always liked to, you know, try and score a few goals and you know, get a few shots off. But I think with the way we started playing, I was able to, you know, pick up good positions and get myself into more you know, dangerous scoring positions. And you know, one day I just pulled the trigger, and you know, I thought maybe I could do this a wee bit more. And you know, my teammates have been telling me I can do it a wee bit more. So you know, it was just been unbelievable to score you know, 5 goals this season.
Yeah, I mean, you got the one against QPR as well, but you like scoring 2 in a game, don't you? Because you also managed that at Charlton. How special was that night for you? Because the goal you scored there, the second one, was voted for as goal of the season.
Yeah, look, scored 2 against Hull, and then we come out on, you know, the losing end, and it was a bit of a dampener on it. You know, after such a high personally, you know, scoring my first 2 goals in the championship, but you know, the Charlton game was unbelievable, really. You know, just getting over the line in that game, it was such an important win as well for the team. And you know, being able to contribute with the 2 goals, it was just, you know, a special feeling. Yeah,
goal of the season, Terry. Was this deserved?
Yeah, well, I think Swanee's was a great finish as well. And even Jordan Williams' against, I can't remember who it was against.
That was Millwall, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Millwall as well. But yeah, I think them 2, and obviously Segs at the weekend, his was great as well. But you know, obviously I'm buzzing with it being goal of the season.
Yeah, you're just being modest there. But away from Pompey, I mean, what does it mean to you to get called up for the senior Northern Ireland squad? I watched you play against Italy. You're coming up against some top-class European opponents there.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I think, you know, everyone's goal, and if they're you know, a footballer, is to play for their country, and you know, thankfully I got the chance to do that. And you know, it was on the biggest stage, World Cup qualifier against Italy, so it doesn't really get much better than that. It was up against probably one of like top left wing backs in the world at the minute, in DeMarco. So it was a really good test, and you know, it was a good opportunity to learn and take stuff back to Portsmouth.
Yeah, we mentioned your goal of the season award, but there were 2 more at the end of season awards. Players Player of the Season, and one voted for by the fans as well, Player of the Season. What does that recognition mean to you from the fans, but also your peers, your colleagues and teammates?
Yeah, you know, it's a special feeling for me. Obviously I wouldn't have thought that would be the case, you know, coming over like 3 years ago. But to be named Player of the Season and Players Player of the Season, it's a pretty special feeling. You know, I've worked hard to sort of gain the respect of my teammates, and that's a really good feeling to have where they respect you. And
yeah. Unfortunately for you, obviously the season's come to an end prematurely. Looking ahead to next season for you, and obviously like George mentioned, converting to right back over the course of the season. What will you work on? What will you personally focus on next season to take your game to the next level, whatever that might look like?
I think it's just we're just working on things that need improving in my game. You know, probably can improve in the attacking third. So maybe being more creative, getting better balls into the box and stuff like that. And then obviously just keep ticking over on things that are strong in my game. And hopefully, you know, I'll be able to play a full season next year. So loads of things to work on. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Terry, you came over from Ireland, and did you realise first of all what this club was about, and also how do you feel about playing in front of these supporters every other week?
Yeah, obviously, I didn't really have any idea how massive a club it was when I come over. But I think I sort of realised pretty quickly how big it was. You know, the fans they adore the club. It's even out and about when I'm out shopping, people are coming up to me and you know, telling me about the football, and you know, it's all they think of down in Portsmouth, and you know, it's really special to pull on the jersey and go out and play in front of them.
Yeah, we can see your relationship there on screen with the fans. We can see how much it means to you, home and away.
Yeah, big time. Look, they travel up and down the country, and at times, you know, we probably haven't deserved that support, but they've been there, and you know, look, it's a credit to them. And thankfully now that today we can probably go and enjoy, have a good atmosphere, and you know, enjoy the season for what it's been, and keeping this club in this division.
So how would you sum up the season then as a club?
As a club, it's probably been somewhat frustrating. You know, I feel like we've been in a lot of games and just haven't got over the line, or you know, we've lost them just at the end. And I think that's just you know, it's something we need to probably improve on, is just getting over the line and sort of next season. And you know, I think we can really push up the table. I think you've seen with the Middlesbrough and Ipswich game. I think I said in an interview after the Derby game, I think it was maybe here, that we're good enough to beat anyone. And you know, like, we went and beat Middlesbrough and Ipswich. So I think, you know, we are capable of that. So I think we just need to do that more consistently next season.
Yeah, and the job was done. You secured safety with games to spare, but you know, I mean, the squad will want to still play for something today and give something to the fans before they all part ways for the summer, won't they? Even though ultimately there's not really too much to play for.
Yeah, obviously it's you know, lads are playing for their jersey next season as well, and you know, some lads have got their kids with them, and they'll be walking their kids out, so you know, they'll be wanting to put on a performance probably for their kids and their families, but most importantly the fans, because you know, they deserve it, and I'm sure the fans will be right up for it today as well.
Have you got a score prediction for us before you go?
2-0 Portsmouth.
2-0 Portsmouth.
Yeah.
We'll take that. Terry, all the best for your recovery. Thank you for coming up today. Have a lovely summer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So coming next then, we'll dive into your team news in a bit more detail. But first, it wasn't just Terry who took the trophies at the end of season awards. Mitch Jones has been running a marathon every away game this season to raise funds for Pompey in the community, the official charity of Portsmouth Football Club, and he was awarded Fan of the Season for his efforts. So here's more of Mitch's story.
For the very first time, Ron Jonas is setting off on the first of 23 marathons this season. Let's go.
Marathon 1, 23, off and away. Let's go.
So let go and surprise yourself.
What a legend.
It's just pain. It's just pain. Pain I'm feeling now. 30 minutes will be gone. It's cool, isn't it? What humans, what we're capable of, if we just put our mind to it. It's all up here. 42.33. That's run over.
And we're so pleased to announce that Mitch's total money raised will be doubled by Sky Bet. If you would like to donate, any amount will be gratefully received, and you can scan the QR code on screen, which will take you straight through to the fundraising page. Now then, Let's dive into today's team news. Your headlines: 4 changes from last Saturday's victory over Stoke. Ben Killip starts in goal and replaces Joe Persick, who is out with an injury. Iban Bauer comes in for Majojo Dia, who drops out. Ali replaces Harvey Blair on the left, and Jacob Brown comes in for Colby Bishop up top. And there's no Colby Bishop, Josh Murphy or Harvey Blair in the squad. And Conor Ogilvie is the skipper today. Hards, 4 changes there. Quite unexpected in places, I think it's fair to say.
A little surprised, but also not surprised in some other ways. You know, look, you're giving Jacob Brown, Milan Ali a chance to show what they can do. Again, you know, Swift again playing in the 10 role where he has done well. He has been a creator in there. So yeah, a little bit surprised that you look especially when you look at the bench. You know, Regan Poole, Conor Segecic, Marlon Pack. 3 players that have been, you know, pretty much, if they were fit, they would be starting. So they've probably all got little knocks and probably don't want to get injured for the, you know, going into the summer period. So the rest of them, but yeah, Connor Chaplin surprised that he's not starting either.
So what happens then? Actually, just a bit of inside information from yourself.
Yeah.
If you are injured going into summer, how does that work?
Yeah, you come in. So
right.
It's amazing how many injuries cleared up pretty quickly.
I feel fine.
I feel fine. Right. Yeah, I'm limping along, but I'm feeling fine. So yeah, it's look. You have to be ticked off by the physio, you know, so that you are fit and you haven't got any problems that you're going to turn up.
Did you ever bung the physio a few quid?
Nah, not at all. You're professional. There used to be an insurance company that the lads used to always get a hamstring at the end of the season that carried them through, and they got a little bit of extra money from that. But no, look, it was always like, it was important. You know, you're professional about it. You wanted to be ready to go again for the next season. You wanted your downtime as long as you could, because you don't get a break for 40 odd weeks a year. So it is important that you go and, you know, look after your body and do take that downtime. I mean, look, I used to take 3 weeks off, do nothing, and then start to build myself up. These days, the lads sort of carry on doing little light bits, I believe. You know,
so you did a pre-season?
Yeah.
Back in 1960, 70?
Yeah, 50, Dan.
Sorry.
No, I did. I used to build it up. So 4 weeks before we were going back, I used to do 1 run. And then 3 weeks ago, do 2 or 3 runs. Then 2 weeks to go, do 4 runs. And then the last week before I was going back, I was training every day, just to make sure that, you know, when you go back, you're not going to pull any muscles. A lot of lads used to come back. I remember Mickey Quinn, you know, and players like that used to come back about half a stone overweight, and, you know, and try and then they'd go, well, look.
I think there was a song about that, wasn't there?
Yeah, he's fat, he's round, he's worth £1 million. But yeah, look, players like that, you know, used to then really put it, like, they used to put dustbin liners over the top of their kit and train and just get a really good sweat on and run it off. So yeah, really different from now.
Conor Ogilvie, Pompey's longest serving player currently. What an honour being skipper on the last game of the season.
Yeah, I think it's a great gesture, I think, from the manager. Obviously, the usual suspects that would normally wear the armband obviously aren't on the grass today. And I think you look to him next in line, really, to be that leader in the group. Obviously, there's a lot of young players on the pitch this afternoon. And look, it's a great opportunity. It's a great sort of recognition, I think, for the character that he probably is around the group, and, you know, he'll be delighted with that, no doubt.
I know we'll see the players at some point on the pitch, whether they play or not, with the lap of honour at the end. But for players like Regan Poole, who's had such a shift this season, Conor Shaughnessy as well, Marlon Pack, Conor Chaplin, all these players, are we going to see them get minutes today, do you feel?
Possibly. I think probably the last 5 minutes or so for 1 or 2 of them. Maybe the last half an hour for another couple. So yeah, I think they'll come onto the pitch. But I think it's more important that the players that are, you know, going out there at the start do well enough to be allowed for those other players to come on.
Yeah, no Colby Bishop, no Josh Murphy in the squad. We don't know the actual reason why that is, but they've had, you know, we know Josh Murphy's been out for most of the season through injury. Colby has played as much as he can, minute after minute. He's putting such a shift out there. Do you think that's partly the thinking behind it?
Yeah, probably. Again, in terms of, you know, what's riding on the fixture this afternoon, there's nothing riding it in terms of, you know, the result and where that leaves the football club. I think obviously trying to look after those guys physically as well. Obviously you mentioned Colby, who's played a lot of football this season, and certainly the way that he plays as well. He's combative. He's very robust. And look, if he might be carrying a niggle, and it simply might not be worth it.
So let's have a deep dive into your loan players then. Let's have a look what's going on there. So for Florian Bianchini, it's been a challenging loan spell, injury reducing the Frenchman to just 10 appearances. And it wasn't meant to be for Adjialis either, who found himself injured after 9 minutes of game time in a blue shirt and has been back at his parent club, Sunderland, ever since receiving treatment. For Mili Ali, there has been some ups and downs since signing in January from Luton. The 26-year-old finding the back of the net against West Brom, looking dangerous on the wing at times. And for his fellow Luton loanee, Jacob Brown there, there have been 14 appearances so far this season, 15 today as he starts up top with a goal against Swansea and 1 assist as well. Paraguayan winger Gustavo Caballero featured 12 times for Pompey before injury cut his season short, including a memorable goal against Millwall. Did you know he's quick? And excitement coursed through PO4 when it was announced Connor Chaplin was returning to Pompey on a season-long loan from Ipswich back in September. He scored twice this season against West Brom, and that pivotal goal, screamer, in the final seconds against Middlesbrough, as well as racking up 3 assists. Pulled by his own admission, Connor Chaplin's goal tally isn't quite where he wanted it to be, but we've seen some very bright sparks from him, considering the latter half of the season as well, especially.
Yeah, I think that what happened was, I think Connor probably expected to be playing in that 10 role, and there was times when he was pushed out onto the right wing, and look, we've seen Segecic play it excellently last week, and John actually explained that in the press, that he wanted him coming in, not being a winger, but being more inside right, if you like, and coming in and playing just the width of the 18-yard box. And Connor didn't really feel comfortable in that, I don't think. When he was put back into the 10 role, he started to perform after a couple of games there, getting back into the old way of things. And look, he is a 10, there's no doubt about it, and he is a quality player. But Segecic has done well in there, John Swift's done well in there. There's competition for places in that position. So, yeah, it was a shame because, as we all know, we all love Connor. He's a great kid. I say kid, I still look at him as a 16, 17-year-old. But, he's 29 now, so it's going to be an interesting summer for Connor, I'm sure.
So let's have a look at how today's opposition lineup. Birmingham City, 2 changes for the Blues today. The other Blues, Danny, talk us through what's going on.
Yeah, obviously they're 4-2-3-1 formation. Obviously 2 changes, like you mentioned, George. Tomoki and Osman coming in for Paik and Gray. Look, they're a side that are in a really good vein of form, and they're finishing the season strong. They've got 3 wins out of the last 4. Obviously a good win against Bristol City last time out. And Jay Stansfield's the danger man, the one to watch, with 11 goals over the course of the season. They bought him for £20 million last season when they were in League One. I think that shows the intent that they had at this time last year. And look, he's gone on to repay that favour with his goals last year, and obviously contributed a lot this year as well. Look, they got quick wingers, in terms of the boys that are on the flanks. Obviously Damari Gray coming out just shows the depth that they have in that area of the pitch.
And they've still got Patrick Roberts on the bench as well.
Yeah, so top end of the pitch, that they've got strength in depth, and obviously that requires a lot of good work from the recruitment team, but obviously a lot of investment into that squad as well. And I think that's allowed them to get to the position that they are in the league, and no doubt that they'll try and kick on again next season.
Yeah, I want to talk about their captain, Christophe Clara, the centre-back. Jacob Brown's going to have a tough afternoon. I've done some digging on his stats. He's in basically the top 5% of centre-backs in the league. He's played over 4,000 minutes this season, won 290 ground duels, 211 aerial duels, and he scored 3 goals as well.
Better play it into Brown's feet then, don't we? If we're going to get some joy. So look, he's that type of player. I think he's always been ever present as well in terms. So look, he shows his what he can like competitively, but incredibly robust to play as many minutes as he has. And look, for Brown to get some joy against him, look, we're going to have to play to Brown's strengths, no doubt. And if you're going to be successful, I think in this division, you need consistency. You need players, particularly in that area of the pitch. We've talked a lot about Regan Paul and Conor Shaughnessy, and look, if those guys were together for a majority of the season, how stable the back line may have been if they were there. And obviously Clara's been a big part of that for Birmingham.
Yeah, and Hards, looking at this then, Birmingham's away form has not been great at all. They're 22nd in the away table, only 5 wins on the road all season. They've only scored 17 goals away from St Andrews. Sheffield Wednesday are the only side that have scored less on the road than Birmingham. They're not going to want to kind of wrap up the season like that though, are they?
No, look, defensively they're decent. I've got to say that you've talked about Christophe Clara there. He does rule the roost there at the back and does very, very well. But yeah, I am surprised with the quality that they've got up front. I've got to say, I would have expected a few more goals from them. Like Stansfield's a good player, and Keshi Anderson scored one goal, didn't he, this season? That was against Pompey. So, look, I am surprised that they're that low, but it's one of those things they will want to try and put right. Maybe next season for them, though. Hopefully not today.
Okay, so for the final time this season then, let's get the pre-match thoughts from the gaffer. John Messino spoke to the press on Wednesday and began by looking ahead to this afternoon's clash with Birmingham.
Yeah, I think that the game has got importance to it, definitely has. The last home game of the season, opportunities for players to come in and play as well as they possibly can. Birmingham have been on a very good run. By the looks of things, they're not taking their foot off the gas, and that's a positive. And we know what a good side there are. We know from experience of playing them, of watching this season, how good and how dangerous they can be. So we've got to be very wary of that, and we want to finish on a high. We want to go and compete, and we want to make sure that we try and win the game. It's I suppose a nicer feeling than it's usually, or than it would have been had we needed something which is a much nicer feeling. But yeah, we still want to go and be competitive and win the game. There would have been expectations, I think, particularly after the start of the season when we had a really positive start, that we might be able to push on and, if not challenge, say in the top half, at least make ourselves a little bit more comfortable. So I know it's been painful from that point of view. I know it's been tough. The fans have properly been put through the ringer. So thanks for sticking with us, and hopefully, we can, like we have over the past few weeks with 4 wins out of 5, show our gratitude for that support by putting in good performances on the pitch. My job's not to protect myself and just to go along with things and keep everyone happy and sign my contracts and be nice and comfortable there. My job's to push, and I will push my players every single day to be better. I push the staff every single day to be better. I'm annoying as anything because I demand from Rich, and I demand from the medical team, and I demand from S&C, and I demand from the chef and from the kit man, and I'm never going to stop doing that, and I'm going to do the same with the owners and for the football club, because I think, stick by it, sorry to keep repeating myself, I think that is what a football club wants. Yeah. That is what any business owner wants from any leader in there, to demand the best for the business. The emotions of the season they're incredibly varying. You go from some terrific highs to some horrendous lows and everything in between. We had issues last year that we addressed, and then we had issues this year that were similar but in different positions, and nothing seemingly went for us, and it was one of those when down at the bottom you feel like that. I think that one of the pleasing things is that all the underlying statistics, I'm not a huge stats man, but we do pay a fair bit of attention to them and use them in conjunction with the eye and in conjunction with subjectivity. All of the underlying performance metrics tell us we're a much better team than we were last year, which is really pleasing. I'm extremely privileged to be part of this football club. When I first signed here, a week before I joined or spoke to the football club, I never would have thought in a million years that I'd become the head coach of Portsmouth, and I'm very, very privileged to have that opportunity. When I speak about players and when I speak about players getting interest from other football clubs, I always see it as a positive, and I've always said that in the press. I've always said it's actually quite flattering when the likes of Terry Devlin gets linked somewhere. There's some interest for Segs, there's interest for Murph. I think it means you're doing something right. And yeah, that's the only way I take it. I suppose it's quite a nice thing in the media at the very least to have that interest.
And you join us pitchside. Here we are. Then we can see the fans gathering in the south stand. Give them a wave. Yes, a lovely atmosphere here building at Fratton Park. I can see my kids up there as well. They're here nice and early too. No parental duties for me though. But you can see behind me, we've timed this really well because Birmingham have just started their shooting drills. So that should be quite interesting to see what happens. So we're going to make our way down towards the Milton end. Again, the atmosphere is building. Still not quite as loud as it will be come kick-off time for the final time this season. But here we are by the corner flag, where we're joined by Andy Moon, the BBC Radio Solent and Pompey Plus commentator. Andy, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Nice to be here.
Yeah, lovely afternoon for it. The final game of the season. Can you believe it?
No, it does go very quickly, but you always get sunshine, it feels. Football in the spring is something else, and it's quite nice. There's nothing riding on it today, and we're not all worried about the 3 points needed to stay up or something like that.
Yes, obviously safety secured. The job is done from a Pompey perspective. Birmingham nothing to play for either. But how would you sum up this season as a whole for Pompey? Because it's certainly had its ups and downs.
It has been a roller coaster. Look, there's been times this season when Pompey have looked a very decent championship side, and there are times where they haven't looked a championship side. And whereas last season it felt it was a home-away split, so one week they looked great, the next less so, it felt at times. This year there have been spells when there's been 4 or 5 good games, and there have been 6 or 7 bad games. But to get the job done with 2 games to go, very impressive.
Any highlights from you? I know Middlesbrough would have been one, but it was your colleague Rob Seals on for that occasion, as it was at Stoke as well last week. So you've missed a couple of big away days, but there have certainly been a few more.
That's my brother-in-law's fault. That was his stag do for Middlesbrough and his wedding last weekend. I was just saying on the radio that I think in 20 years' time, there's two moments people are going to talk about this season. The goal at Middlesbrough and Min Hyuk Yang in the last minute for Charlton. And I just remember that game being such a poor game in terms of quality, but all we're going to ever remember is that ridiculous stoppage time, and rightly so. It was incredible. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it all happened at the end, didn't it? And it's one of those where you come out afterwards and it's just like, it's part of the job, but you have to sum it up into words, but it's a struggle to do that, isn't it?
It really is, because look, Pompey looked like they were going to sneak out a 1-0 win, and those wins at the end of last year against Blackburn and Charlton at home were so significant, and they blew it against Charlton, and then 90 seconds later, they'd unblown it thanks to a really good finish. So just the drama, the reason why you should never leave early, and the reason why we love it.
Yeah, and I believe the chant was, "We never lose at Fratton Park" for the Charlton fans.
It was nearly
quite amusing. Yeah. Any standout players for you this season? Obviously, Terry Devlin collected all the accolades at the end of season awards, but there have been a few more that have certainly thrown their hat in the ring for that.
Yeah, my vote for player of the season would have been Regan Poole, just because I think, look, you came into the start of the season, you didn't even know if Regan Poole was going to be a starting centre-back, and he's played nearly every game. He had that minor injury, but it's not just he's played every game, he's played so consistently. And this is someone who last season, let's be honest, he struggled coming back from that serious knee injury. He didn't look like the player he had done in League One, and you never know whether people will ever get back to where they were. I think his consistency has been brilliant. His fight and passion sums up what Pompey fans want to see. But it's not just fight, passion and commitment, it's quality as well. He has been very good for the whole season.
Yeah, and I don't think a week's gone by since the incident, the QPR game, the 6-1 away from home, where we haven't mentioned it, but it was a really significant moment of the season, and it was possibly, I've said it on air, a good thing, because it really gave the players a wake-up call. That was the turning point, wasn't it?
Yeah, very different if you'd lost that game 1-0. The fans there were frustrated, and rightly so. Look, it was a really poor result, even though it was a game where QPR basically scored with every time they took a shot, and there's a penalty at the end that should have been given, but we're really splitting hairs if we're arguing about refereeing decisions in a 6-1. John Messina's often out very quickly to speak to me at away games, but it was about 5 to 6 I spoke to him. And I think the squad and the coaching staff needed that time together, needed to figure things out. And then I think the 2-week break came at a very good time, and the chance to get someone like Dizelle back, who was massive, but also for everyone to process what had happened and to try and put it behind them. And then a 5-game run there that ultimately is why Pompey will be a championship club next season.
And you've been doing this long enough now to know exactly what the fans are all about inside Fratton Park. But on a lot of away games, you hear the away end kind of out singing and being louder than the home teams. That's got to be pretty special, because we don't get to quite experience that for the away games.
Yeah, look, it is a fantastic away following. It's large, it's passionate, it's loud, and it's brilliant. And the good thing in the Championship compared to when League One is you do get those more tickets, and it's been quite a large allocation at most games. And yeah, the away fans are a kind of special breed, and they add so much to the atmosphere. And there's a lot of Championship grounds where the atmosphere is not particularly good, but you've always got the Pompey fans, even the home fans are quiet.
And what we've got for you now, Andy, is a taste of your own medicine.
Okay.
Because I know you like to throw a trivia question at your pundit for the day, usually Guy.
Yeah.
And you enjoy it. You put him on
yeah.
the spot, so I'm going to try a similar thing with you now.
Go on.
So you joined Radio Solent in 2012. Can you remember Pompey's primary goalkeeper for that season?
So the first season I took over, I want to say Simon Eastwood was in goal for at least half of it. So I'm going to say him. No.
Unbelievable. It was Simon Eastwood. You got it right.
Yeah,
that's quite easily as well.
Well, look, if you ask the trivia questions, you've got to make sure you get them right when they get thrown back at you.
But very quickly, Andy, the last game of the season, not much riding on it today at all, but how do you see it going today?
Birmingham have not got a great record away from home. I would fancy a Pompey win, although these games, they're difficult to call because it's not quite the same as everything riding on it. But look, we saw last week Pompey pick up a great result, and a win today, and if Pompey move up a spot in the table, I think overall people are going to look back and think, yeah, not a bad season.
Lovely stuff. Have a great afternoon, enjoy the game, and have a lovely summer when it arrives for you as well.
Thank you, you too, George. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Andy. So what we're going to do now then is make our way back up to the Pompey Plus balcony. You can see our pundits up there. Look how smart they look in the matching tracksuits. And whilst we make our way up the Milton End and round, we're going to show you this. We've certainly had some memorable moments on that balcony this season. Some good, some bad, some rather ugly.
And now the end is near. I must face the final curtain. Level.
Paul, welcome back. How was your pre-season?
It's been very good, George. Yeah, I've done nothing.
That's what we want to hear.
Some things never change.
It's worth referencing this new addition to the balcony behind me here. Well, basically, we've had to install that today, security reasons, because a certain somebody who will remain nameless dropped a certain song on Southsea Common.
I didn't know much about it. I knew it was a derby, but I didn't know it was that big. To run that full length of that pitch, I'm not doing that again.
Our afternoon's just about to get a little bit worse. I think Paul's about to do some karaoke.
I'm not sure this is going to work.
Yeah, so I know what it's like working with Danny Rose on a match day now. What was it like for you working with Danny Rose?
He's all right. I can't say too much because he's my boss now.
Ed, can somebody give a shout out to the guy who's jet washing the pitch / Astro at Fratton Park, even missing the game? My name's Paul. Oh, his name's Paul. Hello, Paul.
All right, Paul. Looking good, mate.
There we go. Thumbs up from Paul there. So you're going to be at Loftus Road, aren't you, this coming Saturday for the QPR game? However, I have it from reliable sources that you didn't quite make it there last season.
I think the excuse was valid that, it was the day I got married. We were all very excited, sort of under the table, one of those, just sort of checking the score at the wedding day and the first time.
Yeah, they're both on a par, aren't they? I think,
yeah, exactly.
We're talking about the swing thing, but I'm kind of go there. I know you say you and your brother drive each other on. You're both trying to achieve really good things. How strong is the telepathy thing?
Can I get a quick score prediction from you, please?
10-1, our favourite.
There we go. We'll certainly take that. 10-1. You heard it here first. Paul Robinson, what on earth is going on here?
Oh my goodness, wow. Football, eh? What a finish, unbelievable, isn't it? Thought they'd won it, thought they'd drawn it, and then they go and win it again. I just can't buy that feeling, the feeling inside the stadium.
I mean, tonight's performance tops off what Portsmouth's all about. Every single player's giving absolutely everything they've got for the badge.
Tell you what, the atmosphere in here today is absolutely incredible. It gives you shivers, you know. It shows you how much it means to everyone in this stadium.
Today is going to be the day when I throw it right back to you.
Yeah, I think we'll skip the level. We'll skip the level check next time. Yeah, maybe if we win today, we'll get another rendition of that tune a bit later on. But now it's time for the part of the show that our pundits have literally been dreading all season. It's the end of season quiz.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So hard, you've done a couple of these. Danny, the rules are basically 3 questions each, multiple choice, and if it's a tie, there'll be a tiebreaker question for you at the end. Okay, here we go. You ready?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, no messing around. Hards, we're coming to you first. Question 1 for you. How many players did Portsmouth sign in the summer transfer window? Was it A9, B10 or C11?
That's a good question, George. I'm going to go...
You're on the clock here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 9.
Let's have a look, shall we? Oh, unfortunately not. It's C11. Segecic, Swift, LaRue, Koznovsky, Bianchini, Yang, Knight, Kirk, Bursic, Ume and Chaplin.
Oh, yeah.
So there we go. No points on the board just yet. Danny, can you change that? With your first question, how many players have Pompey loaned in this season? Is it A6, A6, B7 or C8?
It's 6 or 7. Sorry.
Did you do that deliberately? There you go, one for the kids watching.
I've got kids, yeah. I'm going to go 6.
Let's have a look. 7. Bianchini, Yang, Chaplin, Ali, Elise, Brown and Caballero.
Got by Caballero.
0-0 after the first round. So, question number 2 for you. Who has played the most minutes this season for Pompey? A. Colby Bishop, B. Regan Paul or C. Andre Dazelle?
I would go Regan Paul.
So B. Regan Paul. Let's have a look. You are correct. Paul Hardiman takes the lead. Dazelle on 3,067 minutes, Bishop on 3,400 and Paul on 3,575. Danny, can you level things up with your second question? Who is the tallest registered Pompey centre-back? Is it Jojo Dia for A, B. Connor Shaughnessy or C. Hayden Matthews?
Has to be B. Connor Shaughnessy.
Let's have a look. It's Jojo Dia. Yeah, so Matthews is 188 centimetres, Shocks is 191, and Dia 192.
Where are you getting your stats from?
Producer Charlie, as always. Pods, if you get this right, mate, you've done it.
Come on.
Your third and final question. I don't reckon you're getting this one.
I won't on purpose so we can have a tiebreaker.
If you add Adrian Segecic's goals to Terry Devlin's shirt number and Marlon Pack's yellow card tally, what number do you get? Is it A, 41, B, 45, or C, 47?
Do you know
Something
what?
tells me you're going to be guessing this one.
Well, I actually had 45 in my head. So
Okay.
I've done 45.
Good guess.
Let's have a look. He's got it right.
God, gets in there.
He's 2-0 up. Danny, unfortunately, it's not your day today, but we contractually have to do the third and final question.
Go for it.
Take a look at this clip.
What level Candy Crush you on? I remember.
Now, it was your question.
Yes.
But do you remember the answer? What level on Candy Crush is Ebu Adams on? Is it A, 1,324, B, 1,423, or C, 2,134?
A, 1,324.
Let's have a look.
What level Candy Crush you on?
1,324.
Great question.
There you go, we got it right. Congratulations, it's finished 2-1 there, so there's no need for the tiebreaker. But Paul, we got you a little something as the winner. Look at that, hold it proudly above your head. Show the fans as well. I mean, the round of applause around the stadium.
Experience.
Unbelievable. Just sum up how you're feeling very quickly in one word.
Emotional.
Emotional. While Paul Hardiman takes home the trophy, you could be winning a slightly better prize. You may have seen our panel modelling the latest, newest retro collection there, and here's your chance on how to win some of it for yourself. The Retro Vault has been unlocked one final time, and this is your chance to win a Pompey home shirt from the 89-91 collection. To enter, simply send us a WhatsApp making retro your first word and tell us your favourite moment of the season. Send your submission to our usual WhatsApp number 07457 413 694. Entries close at the start of the second half of today's game, Portsmouth versus Birmingham. Entries made after that time won't count. You must be 18 or over to enter and can only enter once. The winning submission will be randomly chosen on Monday, the 4th of May. By entering, you agree to Portsmouth FC and its broadcast partner contacting you via WhatsApp. Good luck. So 7 minutes until kickoff then, the final game of the season. Haas, do you have many recollections of these on-the-beach games where there's nothing to play for?
Not really, in the sense of, feeling that you could just jog around. I always felt that, we finished the season professionally and, we went to the end and, I never felt like it was, I had to play at 100%. I was never that good to be able to play on half-cock sort of thing. So I had to go out and play, full game every game. And, you won't see that from the players today, not with 20,000 Pompey fans in here. So, no, I don't think, people talk about on the beach. I think that you can take the foot off the gas a little bit, but not really. You want to be winning those games. Look, there's win bonuses, there's positional bonuses to play for. So, you want to get as much money in the bank for the summer holidays as you can.
And as Terry said, you want to fight your way into that position as well, and you want to make that shirt your own. But also, Danny, I want to come to you because last season, Pompey totaled 54 points. That's exactly where they find themselves now. But even finishing 1 or 3 would be better, but even 1 higher would be a bonus.
Yeah, I think it would be. I think it's a difficult thing to gauge whether that means they're in a better place or not. I think what I would say is, surviving in this championship, this season, given the nature and the size of the clubs that Port's been competing against, certainly, around the bottom 8. There's some really, really big football clubs that Portsmouth will be finishing above this season, and I think that's probably the best marker that I would certainly take in terms of looking at the progression that the football club's made, between last season and today.
Yeah, I mean, the sun's shining, as it always seems to be for the final game of the season. It's just the way it works out. There's a different atmosphere, though, isn't there, for this kind of game when everything's done? There's no tension in the air today. Everyone just wants to give the team a good send-off in the crowd today.
Yeah, I felt that when I was driving to the game. Lots of Portsmouth fans walking in the sun, you know, getting here early, going into the pubs and the bars around Fratton Park. So, yeah, looking forward to a game which is, like you say, the fans can relax. You know, there's no pressure on it. And, yeah, I mean, they still want to be entertained and they want to see goals. So let's go and do that.
Yeah, and obviously the players want to give it to the fans as well, don't they? You want to end the season on as big a high as possible.
I think so. I think that, like Paul mentioned to it in terms of like pride and things like that, you're still playing for your shirt.
He mentioned win bonuses.
Oh, I know, all sorts. Yeah, he's on the beach already himself. But yeah, look, I think personal pride comes into it. I think, look, at Fratton Park, there's no hiding place either. I don't think you can come out here and approach a game, you know, at 95%, 90%, like you'll get found out. And I think the fans know, and the fans certainly recognise, look, if you give 100%, you know, if whether it works out, whoever it doesn't, you know, they acknowledge it and they appreciate that. But I think, look, yeah, players 100%, look, they're playing for, you know, trying to plant that seed in the manager's head around, look, they want to be here next year, and look, if they perform poorly today, look, the last memory that the manager have and the recruitment guys have will be a poor performance. So, you know, if I'm in their boots there, I want to be put on a performance.
Yeah, and we discussed Birmingham earlier when we went through their team. There's a lot of money that's been spent on that team and assembling it. They've got eyes on the Premier League. They've fallen short of that. How did Pompey get the better of them today?
I think second balls are going to be huge. I think the midfield battle is huge, given that Bournemouth have been going a lot more direct of late than normal. So I'll be keeping a close eye on that.
So for the final time this season, the players are emerging onto the pitch here at Fratton Park. Let's soak up the atmosphere. Let's make the most of this. We're going to miss it for the next couple of months. So not long to go until kick-off then. Hans, can we get a score prediction from you today?
I'm going to a Pompey win, and I'm going 2-1.
A 2-1 Pompey win. And Danny?
Also a Pompey win, but 2-0, clean sheet.
Okay, the same as Andy Moon. We'll certainly take that one. So that's it from us for now then. Myself, Paul and Danny will return at half-time. If you're watching on X or on YouTube, your coverage ends here. So head over to the Portsmouth website and pick up your match pass to stick with us for the afternoon. But remember, coverage will depend on your region. So can John Messino's men reward the Fratton faithful one more time and finish the season off in style? We'll find out next as Portsmouth host Birmingham City on the final day of this championship season.